In the Gaelic culture, death was never an end. Death, first of all, Gaelic people felt that every time you went to sleep, you had a mini death. But death wasn't the end. Death was never the end. Death was an entry into the other world and going on to other adventures. You fulfilled your purpose here or you didn't. Whether you fulfill your purpose here or whether you don't, the one thing you do, you're guaranteed to do, you're going to have an experience of finding out what it was like to fulfill your purpose or what it was like not to fulfill your purpose, what it was like to do something else. But you're going to go back with experience no matter what. And in the Gaelic world, it was about fulfilling your purpose or not, finding a way, but then going back to the other world with those experiences. The only thing you brought back with you, was your experiences. And they tell us that the Egyptians, they thought they could bring back slaves and they thought they'd bring back gold. I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe those pyramids were tombs. I think they were just as smart as the Gaelic people. They knew, all the old cultures knew, that the only thing you bring back to the other world, the only thing that you could ever bring back to the other world is experience, is learnings, is the information of, okay, I followed my purpose and I did this. Or I was distracted by other things. I was distracted by the TV, I was distracted by the internet, distracted by scrolling. I was distracted by other things and I didn't fulfill my purpose. But I still had the experience of what it's like not to fulfill your purpose and not to be distracted. So whether you fulfill your purpose or you don't, you still go back to the other world with experience. And that was what the Gaelic people felt. And the other world was very important to them. They wanted to connect consistently with the other world. And they saw sometimes in deer, sometimes in other animals, they saw the spirits of people. And there are many, many Gaelic stories about how human spirits were in deer, were in geese, were in all kinds of different animals. And there's always the idea that Dublin people still have, the old wives' tale that Dublin people still have, that if a bird continues to visit you, I have a little robin redbreast here who keeps coming, and he's worryingly comfortable with coming close to me, which is worrying because if he comes close to another animal, it may be very dangerous for him. But he's worryingly comfortable coming close to me, coming into my office. And sometimes it's difficult to get rid of him. But he's always here. And the old stories were that was someone who had moved to the other world who was coming back to give you a message. Oh, what happened there? It was coming back to give you a message. That was definitely a Dublin old wives' tale. That is still in Dublin people right now. And the other world wasn't something to be feared, and death wasn't something to be feared. Death was a celebration. And I'm talking about this because I've had someone in my life dying suddenly at a really young age. And it made me think about death and how death is connected to the Gaelic culture. And there's more than one, actually. And it made me think about how death is connected to the Gaelic culture and how important it is. And we would always have a wake. And the one thing you'll even find in Ireland right now, if there's a funeral, everybody will turn up to that funeral every single time. They will take a day off. In fact, when Irish people go to England and work in England, they're really shocked that the English don't take a day off for a funeral. It doesn't really compute for us in our culture. We will always take a day off for a funeral and celebrate the life of the person and probably have a few beers afterwards, a few drinks afterwards to celebrate the life of that person. And I hope when it's your day, it's going to be everybody's day at some stage, but I hope when it's your day that they're celebrating you, connecting to your purpose and putting your dent on the universe. And I hope this for me as well, by the way. Putting your dent on the universe, and that you found your purpose and you explored that. I think that's important. And that's how the Gaelic people always felt about death. It was really, really important. It's really important. And it's not to be feared. It's not to be feared. Now, the months in hospital before you die may be something to be feared. That might be unpleasant. Or the few seconds, let's say you're in a car crash or something, the few seconds before you die may be something to be feared. But the Gaelic people never felt the actual death of a person was something to be feared. It was something to be celebrated. And it was something to remember them, who they were, the unique feeling that they gave you here in this world, how they connected with the other people around them, and their purpose, what they did, whatever that happens to be. It may be that your purpose is a huge world-changing thing. That's very, very possible. It may be your purpose is just to experience, just to connect with people, make everyone around you feel good. It may be just to, pay your bills and look after your children, which is important purpose. Or it might be bringing up these incredible intelligent children who are going to change the world. Who knows what our purpose is? It's personal. It's completely personal. It's something that you may find out at some point in your life. But moving then into the other world and having a wake is, for the Gaelic people, was always to celebrate that person. What difference did they make? Did they follow the purpose? Did they make a real dent in the universe? Did they change people's lives? Sometimes just existing changes people's lives. Sometimes you just being here changes people's lives. But it was important for Gaelic people that we honoured the Otherworld. The important thing about the Otherworld for the Gaelic people is that it was energies. It was energies that you could connect into. Not only was it the Otherworld, but the belief in the Otherworld, the belief in gods, helped Gaelic people connect with the beautiful land that they were in, the incredible land that they were in, and the fact of their ancestors dying. Their ancestors died, and we didn't do cremations. We put people into the ground. For 6,000 years, we do cremations now, but for 6,000 years we put people into the ground. And because they were in the ground, they went back. Their DNA, their actual DNA was in the ground. So when we look out at the beautiful Glendalough lakes, we look at the beautiful mountains. You go to Clare, you look at the cliffs of Moher, you just look at the beautiful beaches in Ireland. Or the forests. You're actually looking at the DNA of your ancestors from the Otherworld. Like, for me, that connection is important. So you're connected with nature. That DNA grows plants that animals eat. So the DNA of your ancestors are in the animals. They're in the birds. They're in the ground. They are Ireland. They're the goddess Eru, your actual ancestors' DNA. And that's why our belief in the Otherworld, our belief in dying not being the end, our belief in having a wake and celebrating something, that connected us with the animals. It connected us with the birds. It connected us with the earth, with the beautiful ground and the beautiful scenery in Ireland. Connected us energetically and spiritually with the land of Ireland, the belief in the Otherworld. It was so important, and partially that's why we felt that sometimes, I walked through Wicklow. I was up in the woods in Wicklow, and a deer walked out right in front of me, a wild deer. Now, there's tame deers in Dublin City, in the Phoenix Park, but a tame deer does not have the absolute magic does not have the absolute magic of a wild deer that walks out in front of you and stops for a second, sees you there, stops for a second, and looks directly in your eyes. And as that deer looks directly in your eyes, you're staring into the goddess Eru's soul at that moment. Then he turns and walks away. He turns and slowly walks away. And that's happened to me once or twice where a wild deer has walked in front of me. And for me, I'm not saying you could say, well, it didn't affect me, but for me personally, it was a magical experience. Magical experience. There are tame deer, but it's not the same thing. It's just not the same thing. But we've always believed in the other world. We've always believed in those energies. We can get energies from the land. We can get energies from the goddess. And that's why the Gaelic man is just a little bit magical. And when you're in Ireland, you don't really notice it. But when you go somewhere else, other people feel it. Because it's common in Ireland. But when you go somewhere else, other people feel the magic. And they might not know what it is. They might not say. They might just say you have charisma or whatever. But they feel the magic when you're somewhere else. Because it's unusual. They feel that there's a little bit of something. And it's part of the connection to the other world. It's part of the reason why we have a wake. Even now, we don't call it a wake anymore, but we will always go to a funeral and always have a party after. Some sort of party after where we can talk about the person who moved on, and we can console the people who feel the pain. And some people feel pains in different ways, and it can be painful when people go sometimes. But we know that's not the end of them. Well, we did know. Now there's some atheists in Ireland who feel that is their worm food now. That's fine. That's fine. I think deep down in our hearts we know it's not the end. It's not the end, and we can still communicate with that person. So this is a call. This is a call for you. This is a call for you to remember the old ways of someone you know. Someone you know, someone you have loved has died. Allow the pain. You're going to feel some pain. Allow the pain. There's nothing you can do about the pain. But what I'm asking is that you celebrate their life. You remember them. You remember how they made you feel. You remember who they affected. And you remember their purpose and their unique dent in the universe they did, and celebrate their life. Celebrate their life at their funeral. You don't have to call it a wake. Just celebrate their life and have a drink to remember them.